It was time this whole time, as we can hear in Flowers and You by Touché Amoré. Today, we're talking about waiting for the right time to do something and the possibility to eventually realize that the right time has passed. I chose those lyrics from Touché Amoré from their beautiful and heartbreaking album Stage 4. I am lucky that I cannot relate to this song or even to the whole record. And for those who don't know, this album is about grief and loss. The vocalist Jeremy wrote it about his mom who passed away from cancer. It is actually a hard listen, but such a top tier record. And even if you cannot directly relate to it, there are definitely lessons that you can apply from it. Focusing on the line, "It was time this whole time," we realized that we take things for granted and think that we will always have time later and that maybe now might not be the perfect time. How many times in your life have you thought about a project, doing something, or even having a discussion with someone, but thought that you should wait a bit for the right time? Because at the time you didn't feel ready, whether mentally or in terms of skills, or something else was happening that needed to be dealt with first. You know, like actually waiting for the stars to be aligned and to know that now is the time. But what is the right time? Is it when you get a clear sign and all the lights are green? When you have money, when you perfectly master a skill, and when you are in a good place mentally? Has this actually ever happened to you? If so, you are either very lucky or, sorry to say this, but a liar. Most of the time, I see it as a form of procrastination, but not in the lazy sense of the term. We are just so afraid of the outcome that we push it to later and hope for a sign, a better time, or simply the deadline, if there is one. This especially applies for projects when you're someone who is a perfectionist or is afraid of failure. I already talked about it in my episode Facing Our Fears with Loath, so I won't expand too long on it. But there will always be reasons not to go. And even if there is only one reason to do it, it should be more important, because I am 100% certain that you will regret more to not have tried it than to have but failed. I think that one of the hardest things to push back, which could lead to the most regret, is telling people how we actually feel. Whether it is how we feel about them or how they make us feel. Those are hard conversations. And everyone has their own concept and boundaries of hard conversations. Some people easily say "I love you" to their family, friends, or partner. And I was about to say that it all comes down to how we were raised, but this doesn't even apply to myself. My parents have been divorced since I was 2. This is actually not a big deal for me. I have never seen them together. I don't really mind. This hasn't really impacted me. Also because I think they put the work into it, so it was not hard for me. Anyway, whether it is with my mom or my dad, both were very loving, showed me love, and expressed it. And yet, here I am, unable to express myself so easily and being in therapy mostly because I cannot communicate. And I have my reasons for it, which maybe I will bring up, maybe I won't. I still don't know about it. But still, on both sides of my family, I see a lot of lack of communication. I won't tell you anything here because I already have an episode planned here where I will talk about it more. But this is a pattern that goes beyond between my parents and me. So still, I was raised a bit like this, even though now I can see how my parents tried hard to break the cycle. So coming back to hard conversations, this is where a lot of things can be left unsaid. And talking about that, there is a conversation I didn't have and I wish I did. I don't know if it's going to be very relatable to anyone though, but a little bit of story time. So to put some context, I watched a video of a content creator and she's very into spirituality, about the afterlife, the paranormal, and I'm not sure if I believe in it or not. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, but for sure I am curious about it. And in one video she was saying that before her grandmother passed away, they had a conversation where they agreed on a sign that her grandmother will give her from the afterlife to let her know that she's still here and looking after her. And I thought this was a very beautiful conversation to have. And I thought to myself, maybe I should have that with my grandmother. But I told you my parents expressed their love and everything, but now in my family, now that I'm all grown up, I just don't do that. So this was, a first step of saying, I'm gonna miss you, I love you, and even when you're not here anymore, I kind of want you to be here if you are able to. And also, she was a Christian, she was going to church every Sunday, so she has a lot of spirituality in her, I guess, but I have actually no idea if she believes in the afterlife or if she believes in souls still being here after. So yeah, I didn't know how she would react. And also on my side, I didn't completely believe in it. So I couldn't really push myself to have this conversation. And now she's not here anymore for me to have this conversation with her. But sometimes I actually wonder if she's not here. I have especially 2 examples. Just shortly after she passed away, maybe 2 weeks or 1 month, I used to work in events, and so I was going to events my company was taking part in, and I had to go twice in Italy in 1 month, and my grandmother's family was from Italy. For the first city, I was in Milan, and this is actually not so far from where my grandmother's family is. And so I go to the hotel, everything is going well, and I go to bed. I fall asleep, and I wake up, and when I wake up, I realize the light is on, the light next to my bed. So I'm just thinking, maybe I just forgot to turn it off, even though it's pretty odd from me because I need to sleep with as much darkness as possible. But anyway, I turn it off, and it turns on again. And it's actually also clicking, even though it's supposed to be turned off. So it's not like the light bulb was off or something like that. So yeah, as I told you, I don't fully believe in the afterlife and souls coming back, but I'm also thinking, why not? And I started thinking about that. And so, of course, I called the reception, asked them to send someone to fix it, but the guy just saw, yeah, it works, it's on. And it was not moving, of course. And he turned it off. He saw that it turns off. He's like, yeah, okay, that's good. And his English was not very good. And I don't speak Italian at all. So I tried to tell him, no, but wait just 5 minutes. But no, he didn't. And of course, he started clicking again. And so I just changed room because I couldn't sleep. Like the light wouldn't stay off. And then I go to a hotel in Rome, maybe 2 weeks later. And this time there was water pouring down the ceiling. For this one, I have a rational explanation because I don't have an explanation for the light. But for this one, I do. Maybe it was their AC system who got messed up or something and they fixed it. But still, I thought 2 hotels in Italy where she's from. Maybe she's spending her afterlife close to her family. I even remember talking to both my grandparents. They passed away not even 6 months apart. They spent their whole life together. They were never apart. They were always together. So, of course, they would be together also in the afterlife. So I actually talked to them. There was no one in the room. So I just thought, why not telling them, if it's you doing this, whether it's for the ceiling or the light, I appreciate that you're showing me that you're here. But please, if you could do it in a less annoying way. So still I told them things and there was no one around me to hear. And still I couldn't say that I love them and that I miss them. So you can see the level of how hard it is for me to express myself, like even if there is no one around, just in case the ghost can hear it. So yeah, even with them not in front of me, wouldn't it have been the perfect time to say it? But actually no, it would have been during the 30 years of my life when they were here with me. As Jeremy sings in the song, no matter what the context, I won't have that time again. So I am going to give you a piece of advice that I think I won't even apply to myself, so do as I say, not as I do. But say what you need before it is too late. And it doesn't only apply to telling people you love them, but also if something is bothering you. Really, whatever the conversation you want to have is about, don't keep it inside. It could be telling a friend that they hurt you, or your parents that their actions, as well intended as they were, might have had an impact on your life today. You are afraid that the outcome will be bad, but if you don't, there is 100% chance that it will explode one way or another. So you might as well put the bandage as soon as possible. I think that even if the outcome is bad, at least you will be liberated from the weight and can move on from it. And of course, best case scenario, it will fix the issue and you just can move on with your life. And as always, I don't mean to spread a message like just do it. There is such a thing as the wrong time. However, let's face it, most of the time we are our biggest obstacles toward happiness. And it is for those moments that I want to let you know that you are not alone and give you a bit of reassurance. But by the way, there is a time where I believe that there is no wrong time. You know when some people say, right person, wrong time? I don't buy it. I have in the past, but I think we just tell this to ourselves to hold on to hope, give ourselves some hope that maybe there is a possibility a bit later, but this is just hurting ourselves and preventing us from moving on. Maybe at some point it was right person, right time, and maybe this time was just supposed to be 1 day, 2 weeks, 6 months, 10 years, I don't know. And at some point it was just the wrong time, but also it just became the wrong person. And not as a bad person, but just not the right for you. Of course, there are exceptions to it, but I'm really talking about when it just wouldn't work. Try to not hold on this hope that I'm sure this is the person for me, my person. Just bad timing. Let's just wait a bit. And what are you gonna do while you wait? Well, maybe you're gonna miss the actual right person at the right time. So let's end and reflect on that. Is there a moment where you regretted not doing something or not saying something? And when you took that leap of faith and gave yourself the green light, what was the outcome? This is it for today's episode. If you relate to it, see this as your sign of go ahead, the correct time is now. Or as Touché Amoré said, it was time this whole time. If you like the episode, please leave a review or share your favorite lyric with me. I would love to hear them. You can follow me on Instagram at IntoTheCavePod, and I will see you again next week with new hard-hitting lyrics. Be kind to yourself. Bye!